Joining me now in the studio to discuss the Olmert verdict is attorney Michael Partem of the Movement for Quality Government. Michael, good evening.
Always a pleasure.
All right, let's get right to the point. Was justice served today?
The trial court handed down its verdict. In that sense, justice has been served. Is it the final word of the legal system? No. Does it deserve a full analysis? Yes. It's a decision of over 700 pages. I would call it more War and Peace than a decision. Difficult to digest in one afternoon. If it would be translated to English, it would be over 1,000 pages. So there's a lot to learn, a lot to study. And of course, it's a sad day when the Prime Minister of the country is convicted.
Were you surprised by this verdict?
I think that the surprise element was in the fact that he was acquitted of a number of central charges.
How do you respond? There are many critics of this verdict saying that there was a mountain of evidence against him.
Frankly, there may be grounds for appeal. It must be studied very carefully, particularly the section concerning Talansky and the monies that Olmert received. Many of the facts were not contested. There were lots of monies that flew into Olmert's coffers through or by Mr. Talansky, and I think that that part of the verdict must be analyzed and carefully considered by the state prosecutor in weighing a possible appeal.
Now, you mentioned, of course, the state prosecutor has the option of filing an appeal. How long do they have before they decide to pursue that path?
Well, sentencing is will only be in September. They have we're in the summer recess. They have 45 days in which to consider an appeal, and I'm sure they're working very hard at it.
Now let's talk about the other case against Olmert, the Holy Land real estate corruption trial, which is ongoing, of course. Do you believe that today's verdict will in any way have an impact on the proceedings?
Well, his conviction in the violation of public trust may present a pattern of behavior wherein Mr. Olmert is passively or actively, as the case may be, assisting other elements to further their aims. You know, a politician these days, it's not a matter of giving him necessarily a bribe. It's not taking money into his pocket. There are so many other important ways which a politician has to further his own interests, other than taking a direct bribe. So there are, in the case of the violation of trust with the investment center, which he was convicted of, he basically assisted a friend to promote that friend's business interests. So in that sense, we may see a pattern of behavior here which may be recurring in the Holy Land investigation.
Now, many people, particularly members of Kadima today, greeted this verdict, including Dalia Itzik, Deputy Premier Shlomo Mofaz, Yoel Chasson. They all said that this basically did vindicate Olmert and that he should never have been forced down from office. Are they correct? And is there any means of retribution, any way of reinstating the former prestige that Olmert had?
Well, nobody should be exempt from criticism, from the necessity of owning up to one's actions, and certainly not the Attorney General or the State Prosecutor. The decisions by the State Prosecutor will certainly come under close scrutiny now that this verdict has been reached. But I would stress that it's important that the police and the Attorney General and the State Prosecutor not be deterred from investigating public corruption, that they should follow the trail where it leads, and that they should be vigilant and active. So in that sense, today, we would like to strengthen the hand of the public prosecutor and say that continue your investigations and do not be deterred, do not be cowed if politicians complain, and it's natural that they'll complain because their actions are being investigated. It's important, they are public servants, and it's important that they do their duty. And I think in this case, they have done their duty.
All right, let's talk about one other case that's been ongoing for almost over a decade, and that's the case against Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman. What is the status of that case?
Well, today's verdict shows many things, but one of the things it shows is that when you're up against a man of means, a politician of means, you better be very careful and have all your ducks lined up in a row before you file an indictment. So if the state, the prosecutor, and the attorney general would rather be safe than sorry, in that sense, their caution, their utter thoroughness in the investigation of Mr. Lieberman is called for. On the other hand, it is crucial that investigations of public figures in particular be conducted swiftly. In the case of Mr. Lieberman, that has not occurred. The state has taken a long time, too much time. The public has a right to know, and it's important if he's not guilty to lift that cloud. Or if he's not going to be prosecuted, to lift that cloud. It's equally important for the public to know what its elected officials are up to. We urge, and have urged in the past, the state prosecutor to make a decision in the Lieberman case, and we hope it will come soon, and we can only complain that it hasn't been done until today.
Michael Partem of the Movement for Quality Government, as always, good to have you with us.
Good evening.
Good evening.